Welcome to our short video presentation on surface sampling. In these 5 minutes, we'll be first talking about why we carry out surface sampling, followed by the considerations for carrying out surface sampling, and lastly, how each surface sampling method compares to each other. Without further ado, let's dive in. So, what's surface sampling? It comprises of many methods used to collect microbial samples from environmental surfaces. These methods include contact plating, tape lift and print, wet swabbing, and more. For our purposes, it provides a way for us to identify the organism on the surface and how the environmental bacteria composition is like to determine suitability for use in aseptic manufacturing. It also allows us to establish scientifically whether the environment in question contains more microorganisms than would normally be present. Additionally, environmental monitoring should be used as an early warning system to alert staff when atypical levels and compositions of microorganisms are present in the facility, so that measures can be taken to restore aseptic manufacturing conditions.
While carrying out surface sampling is common, we need to note certain considerations. Firstly, before we begin, we need to consider whether we are doing a qualitative or quantitative analysis, which will affect the way we carry out surface sampling. Quantitative analysis should be more precise, whereby there is a need for the bacteria to be isolated and the number of colonies collected need to be exact numbers to do a qualitative analysis. Before using surface sampling for proper experimental analysis, it is important that we validate our methods used. To date, the only surface and sampling device combination validated by CDC are swabs and sponge sticks on stainless steel surfaces. Other combinations would require additional validation. Next, we will have to consider the location and type of surfaces to be sampled. For instance, gentle wet swabbing can be used for more delicate surfaces, while tape lifting can be employed for more durable hard surfaces. We also need to consider that there will also be different levels of recovery depending on the type of surfaces used for sampling. For example, a horizontal surface would collect more microorganisms than a vertical surface. If there is residual disinfectant on the surface, specific neutralizer chemicals should be used in both the growth media and dilution fluids. For swabbing methods, both the swabbing patterns and pressures applied to the swab during the sampling affects the accuracy and consistency of the method. During the analysis of the sample, we should eliminate any possible contaminants that might be present. The analysis should be performed in an aseptic environment. Even when the results show no growth, it does not represent a sterile surface. This is because it is essential to consider the possibilities of having microbes below the level of detection of the assay method in this scenario. Therefore, consideration of the assay sensitivity is important in this case. Moving on to our last study, we'll be comparing the pros and cons of using various sampling methods in an attempt to see which surface sampling method is most reliable.
Firstly, we can consider growing cultures on contact plates. It is usually used on flat surfaces like laminar airflow workbench, walls and floors, and the plates are 24 to 30 mm in diameter. Its advantages are that it can be used for quantitative analysis, which reveals the number of viable microorganisms via the number of colony-forming units per plate. Also, it is easy to use. However, it is not suitable for irregular surfaces, and confluent growth may occur, which make it difficult to see discrete colonies. Also, media residues may be deposited on sample areas after sampling. The next method is swab sampling. It is usually used on irregular or hard-to-reach surfaces such as tubing, switches, corners, or equipment internals, and its area covered should be at least 24 cm square but no larger than 30 cm square. It is useful for sampling large areas and can be used for qualitative or quantitative analysis. However, it requires additional processing with membrane filtration or direct plating method, and is also more time-consuming than contact plate as area sampled has to be swabbed in multiple directions. Lastly, we can carry out tape lift sampling. It is usually used to identify molds, and its identification can be made through microscopy instead of microbial culture. the spores are identified via a microscope through observing the morphology of the spores. This method is quick and easy. However, it is only a qualitative method and limited to molds only. It requires expertise to distinguish between spores, since most of the same genus are similar in appearance. For example, it is often difficult to distinguish between Aspergillus and Penicillium. With that, we have come to the end of our mini review on the usage of surface sampling. Do try out the next few MCQs to check your understanding about surface sampling. Thank you for watching this video.